Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Hidden Gems and Head Nodders. This is a music discovery series. So, here I would like to highlight the importance of listening to music, learning techniques, learning from other musicians, and that's why I came up with this series. And on top of that, what does it actually mean to listen to the song? Are you listening to it from the musician's perspective, trying to get the technicalities of it, the song structure, or are you listening to it just for pure fun? Something about the song, its emotions, perhaps the lyrics, the storyline speak to you. I am a producer of multiple genres as well, so in my line of work, I listen to, learn, and try to replay multiple genres, everything from chill hop to rock. So the track we're going to listen to today is a track called Berlin by Senari Music. While his blanket genre is indie rock and new wave, this song Berlin by Senari Music is actually something out of a post-punk kind of vibe, which we found quite cool. So if you're a fan of this genre, stick around. You will not regret this discovery. If you want to go straight to checking out this song, links are in the description to his socials. If you want to skip through all my BS in this video, there's a chapter going through the backstory to this song. Disclaimer, I do everything I do by ear, so I'm not one for notes or chords or fancy names. This is also not a paid promotion. We do it because we love sharing our music discoveries with you and perhaps learning something new in the process. So without further ado, let's listen to it and compare what you hear with what I hear. So just in the first 30 seconds of that song, there is so much going on. Let's break it up into parts. First thing you hear are the drums. It starts on the snare flam. This leaves your mind wondering, what is the pattern of the drums? At the same time, this is what in psychoacoustic is called the void. It leaves your ear begging to fill the empty space. Just hearing the drums, wondering what's coming next. That is actually pure genius. And then it hits you like a brick in the face. The droning bass line on top of the main synth line. The droning bass line that goes something like this. On top of the main synth line, which is going something like this. And then the mystery hits you again. 2 bars of just drum and bass. Again, your brain is looking to fill the void. Your ear is yearning and begging for the sound. That is where the vocal melody comes in, the first verse. The vocal melody actually replaces the synth line you heard before.
That you came for, where fortune never meets you halfway, and favors only the ones who wear their lives all paid for things to fall right into place.
So we have the synth again.
Leaders with no intent, choose my own congregation.
And we go into the second verse.
The gates are open and I walk right through. Tip my head to the man, ready to meet his maker. For lines to stand and to do. Take my hand and lead me to somewhere, to a place that I don't know.
So at Take My Hand, the guitar riff comes in, the grit of Berlin. This is backing a vocal melody change, which I call melody 2, which is different from the first and second verse. This is also a build-up to something, and it's taking us on a journey, about to jump off the cliff and glide. So the guitar riff goes something like this.
On the outside I see you smile at me, but the cracks begin to show.
And did you hear that? At Take My Hand, the guitar riff builds us up to something. It's gritty, it's non-forgiving like Berlin. And then you have the vocal melody change, which I call melody 2. And at that point where he goes in the lyrics, and here we are. You damn right, here we are. Listen to the expansion, the chords from the synth. It does something like this. And for the bass line, it changes as well. So during this expansion, so much is going on. The bass line goes something like this. And he's changed the vocal melody again for the third time. So while these melody changes are the usual suspects in the standard verse, pre-chorus, chorus kind of structure, Senari is doing something different here. He's actually using the main synth line as something like the chorus, in my personal opinion. On top of that, the emotional sense of it, from what I gather and what I interpret, is something like he's taking you on a journey through a day, perhaps of a worker, employee in Berlin. The drums are something like they're steady, repetitive, monotonous, dark. You're sitting on the train, dreading to go to work, dragging your feet. And then it takes you to work or throughout your day. By the time it comes to the expansion, you're done with your day. You're actually in the club. Now at this point, with the synth chords coming in, you're free. You're enjoying the nightlife that Berlin has to offer, although unforgiving and hard at sometimes. But it's lifting you up. The synth chords are lifting you up and setting you free, and you're forgetting about your worries just for a while. At 2 minutes and 6 seconds, he has already taken us past so much. 3 different vocal lines, a change in the bass line, expansion, chords come in from the synth, the guitar riff build up. There is just so much going on in the first 2 minutes of this song. It's outstanding.
To a place that I don't know. On the outside, I see you smile at me, but the cracks begin to show. And here we are. Nothing matters once you run through the night and drag me along. Shades against the morning sun make me forget you.
After having taken us on a tremendous journey throughout the first 2 minutes of this song, we are back to the beginning.
Put my name on the walls, my only contribution. Taste that pushes me away. Red eyes pull me once more into your sweet illusion. A warm embrace is telling me to stay. Take my hand and lead me to somewhere, to a place that I don't know. On the outside I see you smile at me, but the cracks begin to show. And here we are. Nothing matters once you run through the night and drag me along. Shades against the morning sun make me forget you.
So at this point, you may be thinking that it's going to repeat. You're wrong. So when we went back to the beginning of this journey that he's already taken us through in the first 2 minutes, he doesn't need to give your brain the void anymore. So he comes in straight away with the bass and the main synth line. He simply brings you back on that journey again, but with a surprise. Were you expecting another verse? Nope. Here he comes with this gritty guitar solo. And now the expansion again, but this time without any vocal melody. You already know what to expect.
Nothing matters once you run through the night and drag me along.
Very soft guitar chords in the background along with the synth chords. So the last part of Berlin is slowly stripping away at the track, leaving you with the bass. What happens then, again psychoacoustically, is that your brain will start to fill in the missing parts even when you're not listening to his song. So I hope the first episode of this series has been a fantastic journey for you. I hope you learned something along with me and also discovered new music that we discover throughout our journey. It's a song that I love, and I'm sure you will too if you're a fan of this genre. Okay, so the backstory to the meaning of this song obviously is based on the city-state Berlin. The song evolved around a recurring synth melody that Senari had in his head. He played around with it on the iPad, used some over-the-top techno sound for it, and he was just playing around and joking with some in-your-face kind of melody. But the melody stuck with him for years. After a few years, he thought, well, why not just have a look at it again and perhaps making it into an actual song. According to Senari, he was going towards something along the lines of the Wombats, Two-Door Cinema Club, something like that. After playing around with a few synth effects, he came up with the main synth song you hear in the release version. Now, the final sound of the synth effects that he finally came up with after messing around with the song seemed to match a post-punk atmosphere kind of vibe, so he decided to go into that direction. Of course, it reminded him of his hometown, Berlin. According to Senari, he says the grittiness and the clubs in old industrial buildings that are open for days on end, and the nightlife that's fun, intense, and not exactly glamorous. He was looking to go into something that was more post-punk, but also danceable at the same time. And that's when he imagined everyone dancing in a club in Berlin. Once he had that synth sound that he was looking for, the vibe, it took about 2 hours for him to finish the entire song, recorded, laid down, except for the guitar solo, of course. Senari also goes on to add that the lyrics behind the song are, of course, related to Berlin, a place that many people flock to and is a place to be. For Senari, Berlin is a place with a great art scene and nightlife, but it's a place that can be rougher than expected and hard to make it sometimes. So Senari's message to you is that he hoped that you enjoy the vibe of the song and that you have a good time listening to it. According to him, and I quote, "The end result reminds me of a bit of what an 80s post-punk version of The Kills may have sounded like, which I think fits the Berlin vibe quite well."